Hello Rahul,
Hello, sir.
how are you?
I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, I am also good. Okay, so today is your React interview with Ashish Kumar. Okay, and
Okay.
he is joining. So please wait a minute.
Okay. Fine.
Hey, hello Rahul.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, could you please turn on your camera?
Yes.
Okay, so we will start our interview, and in this interview, we are mainly asked for like we have three round, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then we will move on ReactJs. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So could you please introduce yourself?
So my name is Rahul Ohol. I am a ReactJs developer. I have 2+ years of experience working as a ReactJs developer, and right now I'm looking for the change. And my tech stacks includes HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js, and Redux toolkit.
Okay, like what are the product projects have you done so far?
I worked on some e-commerce projects, and yes.
Like what are the tech stack over there?
Yeah, same. Mostly I worked on React.js and
Mm-hmm.
JavaScript.
What you have used for state management in
Uh,
that project?
we we use Redux toolkit to
Okay.
manage data.
Okay, so now we will move on HTML and CSS. Have you heard about semantic tags?
Yes, I have. So semantic tags are those just like when I use paragraph. So it means that, right? So the now tag, footer
Mm-hmm.
tag, paragraph tag, section tag. So those are the tags who literally means the for the purpose I'm using. So we can use the same tag for it.
Okay, so what are meta tags?
Sorry.
Meta tags.
Meta text. So meta text we use in headers, and those for setting something. I'm not remembering that.
I mean, why we use meta tags in our websites?
I don't remember, sir.
Okay, not an issue. Okay, let's move with CSS. Tell me what are flags and its properties.
So flex is the parent property. We should use it on parent. So and the it makes element flexible. So whenever we have to respond make our UI responsive, we can use flexbox. So yeah, and it comes with some other property that then we can pass flex, and then it allows you justify content and all of those to manage the childs the to manage the position of childs, how it will look like on the UI.
Okay, okay. What are the positions and types in CSS?
So there are 5 positions in CSS. There is fixed position, static positions, sticky position, relative, and absolute positions.
Okay, where we have to use absolute and where we have to use relative.
Uh, I think I forgot that little bit. I have to brush up on that.
Okay, not an issue. Okay, what are box model in CSS?
So box model. So on UI, when a web page loads on the browser, so everything is in the form of box model. So there are the 4 things in box model. So first one is the content, then padding, then border, and then margin. So the so that's the box model, and
Okay,
yeah.
so now we are moving on CS. Tell me the difference between let, var, and const.
So let and const uh, both are the block scope variable, and var is the functional scope variable.
Mhm.
So let and var gets hoisted. So let's gets hosted in the temporal date zone, and where gets hosted like there is a concept which applies to where like hosting concept applies to where. So it basically goes to the goes on the top. So that's the hosting.
Okay,
And
as you said, temporal dead zone, right? So could you please explain me about it, like where we are going to get temporal dead zone, on which variable we are going to get it?
like whenever we use let keyword
Mm-hmm.
to define a variable, so
Mm-hmm.
it gets hosted in the temporal date zone. I'm not much aware about it, but I have read like it gets hosted here. Before that, I don't know that. I wasn't known that lit also gets hosted, but I read about it that lit also gets hosted in the temporal date zone.
Okay, okay. So, like sometime you might get error like uncount reference error. Did you get
Yes,
in
I
console? So,
yes.
why we are get this kinds of error? On which scenario we can get this kinds of error?
Um, I think I'm not sure about it. I don't
Okay, not
remember.
no worry. Okay, what are the types of hosting in JS?
What are the type of
Hosting,
hosting?
hmm.
Hosting, like I don't
Variable
know.
hosting and functional hosting.
Yeah, functional. Yes. So whenever we use function keyword to define the function, so functions are also gets hosted.
Hmm.
Uh, only only those function gets hosted when we use function keyword, and the function expression that don't get hosted because we use variable to define them.
Okay, so can if we worked as a hosting or not? Immediate invoke function expression.
Immediate, like I didn't get you what you are asking me.
I mean, like you haven't heard about IFI, right? Immediate invoke function expression.
Um, no, I didn't heard about it.
Okay, okay, not an issue. Tell me the difference between rest operator and spread operator.
So spread operator, so when there are the two arrays or objects, so if I want the properties or elements, both like I just want to merge them, or I want all the elements or all the key value pairs of both of them. So I can use spread operator, and it will spread all the elements or all the key value pairs in the our newly created array. And about the spread of about the rest operator, so whenever we use any function and there are the lots of parameters, so suppose I'm passing lots of argument, and to receive that I can use three dot in the parameter, like to that position where we get some parameters, right? So at that position I can put three dots and the name I want to have.
So this was for rest, right?
Yes.
So when you don't know how many parameters we are going to use, we are going to pass it.
Yes,
In this case, you are going to use rest.
yes, and that returns us array when we
Hmm.
use spread operator.
Okay, great. Is JavaScript is synchronous or asynchronous?
So default behavior of JavaScript is synchronous, but yes, we can perform some asynchronous activities, asynchronous logic in JavaScript with the help of promises, async await, and all of those.
Okay. So what are the types of functions in JS?
Functions like function expressions, and then the arrow functions,
Hmm.
and the functions that we use function keyword to define them, our anonymous functions.
Okay. Okay. Tell me what are higher order functions? What are callback functions?
So higher order functions, like we use map for each. So that functions takes a whole function as an argument and
Hmm.
returns something. So those are the higher order functions. And a function that we pass as an argument. So to that argument which we pass, like a function we are passing. So to that function we call it that as a callback function.
Okay. What are disk keyword in JS?
This keyword.
Like what happened when we are going to console this keyword in a function. The same
This,
thing if I'm going to do with object, and the same thing if I'm going to do with like simply window. I mean just opening the any VS Code and simply consoling console.log, and this in these three scenarios what output we are going to get.
so this keyword just point to its parent object. So
Hmm?
when suppose I'm having an object, so if I'm consoling this dot this, so
Hmm?
it points to its parent object.
Okay.
Yeah,
What happened when we just console in a function, normal function, console.log and then this.
I'm not sure about it.
Okay. Okay, tell me the difference between promises, callback hill, and async await.
So promises and async await, we can use both to perform asynchronous operations and callbacks as well. So in the promises, firstly we can use like we should use new, and then the promises p will be the capital, and then it takes a callback. So there will be the two parameters, resolve and reject. So suppose I'm performing some logic, and if I get the output or something, I have to return. So I can make the promise resolve with the help of that resolve parameter. We can invoke that, and with the dot, then I can get the output which was written in the promise. And about async await, so async await we use with the function that suppose I'm calling an API in a function, so I can use that function. I can make that function as async, and I can use awaits wherever I am performing some asynchronous task. Suppose I am calling an API, so I should use await before using fetch API.
Okay.
And about the callback, I don't remember much.
Okay. Do you know like the types of promises,
Types of promises like its state.
like raise, settle all? Have you heard about it?
Promise.all or something like that.
Okay, not an issue. Okay, tell me like before declaring, without declaring, sorry, async, can we use await?
No, we can't use.
Okay,
It should
okay,
be async.
okay. Okay, tell me what is object prototyping?
Object prototyping. Uh, Sorry, I don't remember that. I read about it, but I forgot it.
Okay, not an issue. Okay, tell me deep copy and shallow copy.
So we can create the deep copy with the, I think, spread operator as well. It's copied like I don't remember it correctly. Maybe
Okay, what about shallow copy?
shallow copy. I think I have read about it.
Okay, not an issue. Okay, tell me event bubbling and event capturing.
Event bubbling and event capturing. Sorry, I don't know.
Not an issue. Okay, like how exactly are the JavaScript works? Like how web API call and how event loop works? Do you know about it?
Uh, like I just heard about it, but I think
You
I
forgot.
don't
Forgot.
prepare.
Not an issue. Okay, tell me a difference between map, filter, and reduce.
So whenever we use map, it returns a new array. It
Hmm.
doesn't point to it doesn't get the reference of original array. It just creates the new array. Like whatever conditions we put, suppose I am multiplying each element, so it goes to each. It iterates through the whole array. It goes to the each element, and suppose multiplying it. So
Hmm.
yeah, it just returns a new array with the manipulated values. And about the filters, so we can put the filter on the array, and it also returns the new array. Suppose there is the numbers 1 to 100, and I just want the numbers which are greater than the 50. So I can put the condition as the element should be greater than the 50, and then I will get only the elements who are greater than the 50.
So it means like we are getting manipulated array, right? If we talk about filtered. because you
Uh,
have applied some condition over here.
yes, we can say that like it just filter out all the things. Like according to our condition, it just filter out the
Okay,
all
can
the.
we do the same thing with map or not?
No,
Are you sure?
like map goes to the each element and just do the things. Like I think length will be same for the map. And about the filter, the length of the array may be different
Okay, okay.
according to scenarios.
What about reduce function?
So reduce, we can suppose there we have to make the sum of the whole elements which is present in the array. So we can, we can use the reduce method to add like there is the two parameters accumulator and current element. So and the initial positions we can like the initial value we can put as a 0. Suppose I have to add all the elements, so and then I can simply uh, add the accumulator and current element. So and the initial value will be 0, and when we return the reduce method, it will return us the whole sum of the array.
Okay. Uh, have you heard about currying function?
Yes, I have heard about it. Like, suppose there is the nested functions, each returning a new function. So to that, like, I'm invoking the function, and just next to the it, I again invoking the function, just like that.
Okay.
Function.
Uh, okay. Tell me what is object destructuring?
Object destructuring. So I'm suppose I'm getting one array, and there are the five key value pairs in it. I just want the name and age of the user, so I can simply destructure it. I can I can use const, then there will be the curly brackets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting the property of name and age, and there will be is equal to, and to the opposite side there will be the original array, and when I will console that name and age, I'll get the same values which is present in the array.
Okay. Have you heard about for of loop?
Yes, I have used it as well.
Okay.
Yes.
What's its use and why exactly sometimes we use for of instead of for normal for?
The difference I am not like I just know how
You
to
are not
use it.
pretty sure about it, right?
Like what is the use cases I am not aware about.
Okay. Okay. Tell me the difference between for each and for in.
For each function, for
Mm-hmm.
each higher order function which is built in JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't returns any array. It just iterates through the whole array, and yeah. Suppose I'm consoling each element, so it just goes to the each element, and the things I we can perform the logic inside that block for each block.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me like can we apply loop over the object or not?
Yes, we can.
No. What are the ways?
So we can use foreign loop on the
Mm-hmm.
suppose uh, there will be foreign loop. So for then we can use let keys in the object, and it will iterate to the whole object.
Okay. Okay. Tell me the difference between fetch API and Axios.
So Fetch API is in inbuilt API with JavaScript, which is in the JavaScript. But about the Axios, it is a third-party library. Suppose we can do the same things with the both of them. Uh, yeah,
Okay. Which method do you like to frequently use, fetch API or Axios in your project?
I generally use Axios
Okay. Why?
because we don't have to specifically define what is the method or something. It just we use axios.get, or and we just put the we just put the URL, and with the dot then we can get the data.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay, we are going to move on React.js. We will start with the basic questions first. Do you know what is virtual DOM and real DOM?
So virtual DOM is nothing but the lightweight copy of the real DOM. Whenever something changes, so a React creates the new virtual DOM. There is a reconciliations happens, and
Mm-hmm.
in the reconciliation there is a deep algorithm. So it checks what has been changed. So according to that, it just creates the virtual DOM, and the virtual DOM is obviously it is efficient. The real DOM manipulations are expensive. So it React provide one feature which is a virtual DOM. It creates the lightweight copy and just renders it.
Okay, I have placed one code snippet. Could you please tell me which console log will call first and why?
Uh, 1 second. Const data is equal to false. Data one is data. One. Like the second one, I haven't used this const data one is equal to new boolean. I think it is typecasting, something like that. But it should be condition should be always true to perform the to go inside the if block.
So, like, which block will call first and why?
So if data is already false, so it won't console. Maybe the second one. I'm not sure about the what will happen, but for the first one, I'm sure that it is if it is a false, then it won't be go inside the if block.
So, according to you, second will call. In
Maybe, but
console, we are going to get second.
maybe we will get the second one. But for that as well, I'm not sure because I haven't used this type of code.
Okay, not an issue. Good try. Okay. Can you please tell me life cycle of in life cycle in React.js?
So, in the life cycle, there is the three phases component goes through. So, the first one is the mounting phase. So, all the components gets uh, when the component initial renders, that's the mounting phase, and there is a updating phase. Updating phase and the unmounting phase. Yeah.
Okay. So, what are pure components in React.js?
Pure components. Um, no, I'm not. I don't.
Have you worked on class-based component or not?
No, I don't. I just worked on functional components.
Okay. So you also don't know what about like control and uncontrolled component.
Controlled and uncontrolled component. Yeah, I have read about it. So when we control the form data with the use state, our like when we use state or controlling the state of the component. So that's
Can
the
we
control.
use state in class-based component?
It's hook. So it is a hook.
Does
It
hook works in class-based component?
No, there is a. I think there is inbuilt things in the class-based component.
This dot set state would be
Yeah,
the one.
this dot state dot this dot
This
class.
dot set state.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Go ahead.
kind of things. So I just known about the basic things. Have seen the code and they were using like that only.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and in the functional components we use the hooks to perform the to control the states and something.
Okay. And what about uncontrolled component?
So like we don't control the state accordingly.
You mean to say like we are not going to follow to handle data using state? Instead
Yeah,
of
like
state, we are going to do something else. So
yes,
in this case, uncontrolled component could be there.
yeah, maybe that like that.
Okay, okay. Uh, Tell me the what are states and props?
So so states are the local state variables. We use in the React we use component based architecture. So we can manage the for the particular component we have the access of use state. So we can manage the data of the component. We can manage the state of the component with the use state. And about the props, so props are the read-only properties. We suppose we have to pass some data from the parent to child. We can pass that through the props.
Okay, so basically, state is used for storing the variable, right? So
Yeah.
why we mainly focus on creating the state in React.js? Why we don't go for like simply creating the variable and storing the data over there?
So React is the it's a declarative. It's not an imperative. So React gave us some features according to them. We have to write the code according to them. So they gave us use state. So it somehow React tracks all the things. So if we create the variable and then we try to change it, React don't know that what is happening behind the scenes. But when we use the use state or the hooks that React gave us, so React somehow tracks it. React able to know that what has changed or something like that. So
Okay,
that's what the reason we use
for
states.
rendering purpose.
Yes.
Okay. So what are hooks in React.js?
So so initially in the initially there were no hooks introduced before the version 16. So after version 16, React gave us the features of hooks. So with the hooks we can perform the like we can scale the applications, we can store the states, we can perform all the side effects, we can memorize the data with the use menu.
Okay. So can we pass data from child to parent or not?
Yes, we can pass it via callback function.
Okay, how exactly this works? Like, could you please explain?
Suppose I have one state at the parent component. So that is suppose that is updating something. Maybe I have one counter, okay,
Mm-hmm.
on the parent counter state. So I have to change that state. I have to increment the counter,
Mm-hmm.
and but I don't have button on the parent, on in the parent component, and that button exists in the child component. So I can simply pass that set state method. Suppose I'm creating the change counter.
Mm-hmm.
I have defined one function at the parent level. I have defined that change counter, and I can pass that as a callback, as a prop in the child component. And in the props, I can receive that callback, and we can invoke whenever that button gets clicked. We can invoke that.
Okay. You mean to say like you are going to define the callback function in parent itself?
No, no. Yeah, we can do that as well. Like we can define the function change state, and inside the change
Where you
state
will define that function in child component or in parent component?
in the parent component.
Okay, good. Okay. Have you heard about use reducer
Yes, use
and
reducer.
how it is different from use state?
So use state like there will be the when we use reducer we get some types. So there will be the initial state, and there
Mm-hmm.
in the actions we get access of type. So according to type we manipulate that data or returns it. So returns that state. So we have to write the default one. We have to suppose there will be the two state increment and decrement. So once if I get the state of increment, so I just have to increment. And about the use state, so it doesn't depends on the types and something. We just use the use state, and if we want to provide some data at the initial level, we can provide that.
Okay, like how many parameter does it take by use reducer function? Sorry, hook.
So it takes the initial state
Hmm.
and it's so long since I haven't used it. So
Okay, not an issue.
two parameters.
Yeah, it takes two parameter.
First
First
one
one is
is
initial state, and there is
state.
one more. Okay,
I think that's the maybe that state or something, but
you can read later on, no issue.
yeah.
Okay, tell me, like, have you heard about context API?
Yes, I have heard about it.
Okay, so in most of the projects, some of the time where we going to prefer to use context API, and sometime we prefer to use Redux. So could you please explain me when we have to choose in both of them?
Suppose I am creating a one small scale application. Uh, I don't need of the data every time, like at the a global state. Suppose I'm just creating a very small application. Just want one state at the global level. Okay, so then we can prefer to use the use context. And then suppose if I'm having the if I'm creating one large e-commerce website, so I can go with the Redux toolkit or Redux. So yeah. So for the large scale application, we should go with the Redux. So it makes it easier to manage the global state.
Okay, can we use both, like context API and Redux in a single project?
Yes, we can use, but suppose I already using Redux. So what the point of using context API?
Okay. Okay. Tell me the whole structure of Redux. Why we use, what are its main pillars, and how we can achieve it, like making it global state and all.
So in the Redux, so there will be a global store inside our application.
Mhm.
So with that store, we get the access of our global state. And the second one is there will be the reducers, and the third one is the action object or action types.
Okay, here you have heard about single source of truth.
Yes, yes. So
What does that mean?
creating one store for the application. To that concept, we say that it's just the single source of truth.
Okay. So there are so many things also I think you have missing out.
Yes, like I actually not worked much with the Redux. I worked a little bit with the Redux toolkit.
Okay, so you know about Redux toolkit.
Yes.
So in Redux toolkit, how it is good to have instead of using code Redux. Why we used to prefer toolkit nowadays? Do you have idea about it?
Yes, initially in the when the people using Redux, so at that time there was lot of copy pasting things was going on. Like there is a code, we just have to copy paste lots of time, and with the Redux toolkit, it makes it really easier. We don't have to write much code. Like if I'm writing 10 lines of code in the Redux, so I just have to write 5 lines of code in the Redux toolkit.
Okay, what are the main main things that you are just saying, like if we are going to use toolkit and it will make our life easier to preventing to writing the code much. I think there is something that you're missing currently.
Yeah, maybe yes, because I haven't worked much on the Redux.
So basically, if you talk about actions in toolkit,
Yes,
in core Redux, you have to write actions especially for it. If you talk about toolkit, this will give you like by default exporting.
Right, right. In the Redux tool, in the Redux, there used to be one file separate for the
Mm.
action types, and
Yeah.
we were used to import in the reducers.
Okay. What's the like main use of use dispatch and use selector?
So we use dispatch to dispatch the actions, like what are the actions I am expecting to be happen, and the use selector. So we get access of the state what we want. Like there is a auth state in the Redux toolkit,
Hmm.
so I can get only that with the use selector. We just have to use that store dot or our state's name.
Okay. Okay, tell me like where we basically suppose we have to call the API. That API is basically get API. Simply we are listing our product, right? So
Yes,
you are just dispatching, right? Dispatching simply an action. So
yes.
in which function you are going to just dispatch that action in your product listing page?
In which function, like
So
I
suppose for
didn't.
the first time your page loads, right? In that case, there a list of product is loading, right?
Yes.
That product list is loads on the calling of get API, which
Mhm.
calls automatically whenever the page loads, right? In this
Yes.
case, in which function or in which hooks you are going to call that
Okay,
dispatch?
okay. Got it. So we can use effect, and
Hmm.
we just have to put the empty array, so empty dependency array. So we just
Okay, what does it mean? Empty or dependency or whatever.
so when we put the empty dependency array, so it means it will only runs when the initial render is happen, like after the initial render only. So
Okay.
once the page gets load, it just runs only that time. But when we put the dependency, so it will also run when that particular state has been changed. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just giving you a scenario, right? Suppose you have a state which is count state and has initial value is 0, right? And there is a button. When you click on the button, it upgrade by 1, right? So
Yes.
once the count value become 5, you have to call a function. How can you achieve it?
There will be a what do you say? There will be a state, and the initial value will be zero,
Mhm.
and I'm incrementing it. And when
There is a
the
button. When you click on it multiple time, it increases by 1. Once the count value become 5, there must be a function called. How can you achieve it?
okay, so I can put that state in the dependency array of the use effect. So whenever the state has changed, I can,
Hmm?
there will be a logic inside. So in that use effect, I can check the value, is that value is 5 or not, or is it less than 5 or greater than 5. If it is exactly 5, then I can, write some logic in the if block.
Okay, like you are saying in use state, sorry, use effect or simply if else condition.
Like what can you please explain what I have to perform after the the counter comes to the
Like
file.
simply like you have a count variable, right? Count state, right? And comma set a set count and has initial value, which means use state in bracket 0, right? So there is a function. You have to create a function, right? And you have to write some logics. Once the count variable become 5, I mean the count state become 5, you have to call that function. That function could be anything like alert function or whatever, and you don't have to use if else condition.
Okay, we can use the ternary operator if it is equal to 5.
Okay, can we achieve it using use effect or not?
Yes, what I the reason why I'm using use effect, that it uh, you know anyway the component. re-renders when the state has changed, but I just use effect to when that particular state has changed, so I can perform the logic which is inside the use effect.
Okay,
And
good.
inside the use effect, I can check if that state comes to 5. So if it is the case, then I can go ahead
Yeah,
and
you
write
have
the
to
logic.
pass a condition, I mean count in a dependency. In this case, your particular use effect will call if you're going to pass some dependency. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Tell me, like, have you heard about middlewares in React?
yes, I have heard about it.
Okay. What does it mean, and how we can achieve it, and what are the methods in React so far?
So suppose I'm calling some APIs or something, we
Mhm.
can use middleware. So it kind of intercepts the request
Mhm.
when we made it.
Okay. So, like, how will you going to call the API in Redux?
In the Redux, so in the Redux, like in the Redux toolkit, there is a we create the slices
Mhm.
and we can create the async one. So inside that async function, we can call the API with the Axios.
And where you are going to define your functions,
Uh,
reducers or extra reducers.
in the reducers,
You haven't heard about extra reducers?
yes, there are the extra reducers. We can create that. Yeah, like I haven't worked much on the Redux toolkit as well, but
Okay,
yes,
not
there is the extra reducers in the there will
yeah.
be initial state
Mhm.
and the extra reducers.
You might have to work on that because in if you talk about in a live project, people mostly prefer to work on middlewares, like whether it's a sync thunk, whether it's a toolkit, sorry, saga or thunk simply. Okay,
Yeah.
not an issue. Tell me, what are lazy loading and code splitting?
So lazy loading, React with the React dot lazy, we can get our component. We can pass that path in the component path of the component in the React dot lazy. So yeah, uh, with that, hello.
Yeah. What about code splitting?
About the code splitting, I haven't heard much.
Okay, not an issue. Okay, what are React portals?
React,
React portals, portals.
React portals. No, I haven't heard about it.
Okay, what are profilers?
Profilers, no.
Render props.
Render props, no. I haven't
Okay,
heard.
okay, not an issue. Like, okay, tell me, like, is it good to have to use a prop drilling or not in a small scalable project?
If there is a small project, we can use context API instead of prop drilling, because when we do the prop drilling, suppose there is a component A and there is a component E, and I just need the value inside the component E, and I just have to pass that value inside component B, C, and D, even if there is no need of the that state. If that state is changed in component A, then all the childs will be re-rendered because of that prop drilling. So we should avoid the using of the prop drilling.
Okay, okay. In React, we have pure functions. Do you know about it?
Pure functions. So pure functions like uh, that doesn't the output will be the as expected, and the when we use suppose if I'm calling some API or something inside
Hmm.
a uh, inside that function, so what will be the output, if the output will become some error will become, we don't know that, so we can't predict that output, but with the pure function we are sure that the something will become.
Okay, okay. Tell me, where we have to use use ref hook.
uh, use if we can suppose I am we can use it to access the element like suppose I have a input field and I want to focus on that when the page has load, so we can use there as well.
So can we use the same scenario, whatever you have said, with without using useref or not?
uh, I don't know how to do that, but with the user ref, we can pass that reference with the input, and we can use that ref.current.unfocus. We can invoke the
Okay.
method.
Okay, tell me the difference between use memo and use callback.
So we use memo. Suppose the data there is a data, particular data, which is in large amount. Suppose there is a bigger array, and uh, I have to calculate the sum of the each element. Okay, so that will be the expensive task. You know.
Hmm.
So, and every time doing that, like if there is a if the state has changed, so
Hmm.
that logic will be performed again and again, right? So to memorize that, we can use the use memo. In the use memo, we can perform that kind of actions. We can perform the logic. And about the use callback, it memorizes the functions.
Okay, so it memoized the function,
Yes.
like it return memoized function value in
Uh,
callback, use callback.
like I think it mainly uses with the event listener to memorize the listeners or something like that. I haven't used much use callback, but I have used use memo.
Okay, can we put like our hooks in a variable or not, as a variable?
Like as a variable. So with the use memo, we can assign that. So sum of array is equal to use memo, and we can put some logic inside the use memo.
Okay, okay, Rahul. I am done with your introduction. I will give the feedback to Harsh. Do you have any question for me?
Yes, actually. I have one interview on this Monday, so I already cleared the technical round, and they
Mm-hmm.
said that they will take the HR round, and before the HR round, there will be a little bit technical discussion. So I
Mm-hmm.
just want to know. I haven't given the face-to-face interview before that,
Mm-hmm.
so what kind of things I can expect to, and what kind of things I should be prepared about.
Okay, how many experience have you shared there?
It is 2+ years.
Okay, so you have to mainly focus on a string array object if you talk about JS practical interview, right? And like some of the questions, okay, you have already cleared the first round, right?
Yeah,
Then,
technical one. They
okay,
said that you are almost done the technical things, but there will be a little technical discussions, and after that there will be only a chat round.
okay, you have to like focus on React. Like suppose they might can give you like a to-do list, to-do app, or simply CRUD operation using toolkit, right? Or simply they can give you API listing the product and do some like operations, apply some filter search and all, so you can practice over there. And your core must be good, like you have to know like how exactly map filter works, reduce works, and how like use state we can make some manipulations with use effect, how exactly use effect works. The question that I have you just asked about the count, you might have to rework on it after this call. Okay,
Yes,
if
yes,
you remember about it, like without using if else condition, how you can achieve it using use effect. So you mainly have to work on state if you talk about React, like how we can manipulate the React, how we can pass the data from child to parent in large
yeah,
scalable project. We mainly focus on to manage or to manipulate this state. So these kind of things might be asked in your second round, in a practical round. And like for the JS round, there must be like you have to focus on like you if you're going to just search like top 50 questions on JS, you can just go through it and you will get the better idea. And overall, you are good. you know the core, but you have to focus on practical as well.
Okay, if you don't mind, out of the 10, how much you can rate myself as you interview
Yeah, I
myself?
will I will I will share the feedback to Harsh, and he will give you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for having me here. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Rahul.
Yes, sir.
So, how was your experience?
It was really mind blowing. I got the chance of interview.
Okay, not an
I
issue.
really, yeah, I really appreciate your time for giving me a chance of interview.
Okay, okay. And I will discuss with Ashish. Okay, and we will get back to you. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
So, bye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
Bye
you.
bye.